Good evening and welcome to News Channel 8. I'm Jerome Aegean, and here's some of the top stories we have for you tonight. A wrap-up from yesterday's crime, public works in Williams Delight again, and what to do about school dropout rates. These stories and more are up next on News Channel 8. In our top story tonight, a 60-year-old work and rest man is in custody this evening as a police chopper hovered over his marijuana field. Juan was spotted pulling several plants from the ground. Juan Lindquist was placed under a $10,000 bail. The investigation is still ongoing.
Police on St. Croix confiscated more than 1,000 marijuana plants during a routine aerial surveillance Tuesday afternoon, February 9th. The marijuana was confiscated from several fields located in Estate Work and Rest and Tortola on St. Croix. One person was arrested in connection with the seizure. Police continue to investigate the matter, including interviewing other possible suspects. The Virgin Islands National Guard, Puerto Rico National Guard, and the Virgin Islands Police Department collaborated in conducting the aerial sweeps of the island Tuesday and spotted the marijuana fields. St. Croix Deputy Chief Christopher Howell said at one point the helicopter flew over a marijuana field and we observed someone trying to pull the plants up from the ground. Patrol officers were called to detain the suspect. Arrested was 60-year-old Juan Lindquist of Estate Work and Rest. Lindquist was charged with possession of a controlled substance with intent to distribute. His bail was set at $10,000 and he was remanded to the custody of the Golden Grove Adult Correctional Facility pending further court action.
And in other news, it's Wednesday. Time for your Crime Stoppers report. Here's News Channel 8's Wes Small.
All right, thanks a lot, Jerome. We want to remind you that there is still an all-points bulletin, an island-wide search going on for 20-year-old Isaac Robbins Jr. A lot of rumors and speculation about this missing young man. I just want to remind you about the family's grief and sadness as they try to put this thing to closure. So we won't give up searching for 20-year-old Isaac Robbins Jr. As we continue Crime Stoppers, we're talking about 4 murders in particular. Police need your help on St. Croix in identifying the suspect in the murders of 20-year-old Akeem Lee. Pictured here, you remember Akeem Lee. He had his chain stolen, his cell phone, his watch. Cold blood. He was murdered in Frederickstead near the food stamp office. And also on St. Croix, there's the February 3rd double homicide at Mutual Homes. You're watching some of that dreaded file footage right now. That's when 31-year-old Gary Gonzalez and his 16-year-old nephew Charlesworth were shot around 30 or 40 times at Mutual Homes. And that was in Estate Grove. And on St. Thomas, December 19th of last year, at the PMP basketball court around 5:45 in the morning, that's when a young black man was killed. So we need you to come forward. Please help with these 4 unsolved murders that I've just mentioned. Don't let these cases go cold. And finally, on St. John, after 9 p.m. on February 3rd, burglars entered a home in Fish Bay while the occupants were sleeping, and they stole an iPod. Remember, if you have an unclaimed reward, you're only eligible for 6 months. That's the window. After that, it expires. And also, wanted to remind you to keep those tips coming in. All tips are anonymous. All operators are bilingual. 1-800-222-TIPS. 1-800-8477. You can make a difference. I'm Wes Small for Crime Stoppers for News Channel 8.
The Virgin Islands school dropout rate is alarming, to say the least. News Channel 8's Lee Carl files this report in a 2-part series.
For better or for worse, teachers could dramatically affect the dropout rate in the territory's public schools. That was one of the key messages stressed during a dropout prevention symposium held Tuesday at the UVI campus in St. Thomas.
A better way to start looking at this issue. And not that we haven't been looking at it, we have. Every jurisdiction that has young people are struggling with the dropout rate and what we can do to keep our children in school, to make sure more of them graduate from high school on time. And we know the impacts of what happens when that does not happen. And today you're going to hear some of that information. And the purpose of today was for us to hear the latest research about what is happening in dropout prevention, the things that we know that work and can work, and then for us to then turn internally this afternoon and look at ourselves to say, what are some of the policies and practices that we currently have that actually enable students to leave school? What are some of the new policies and laws that we need to put into place that will support our goal in the Department of Education, which is to have every student graduate with a high school diploma? Parents, the National Guard, everyone who might have an impact. But most importantly today, we have invited another group whose voice we want to hear this afternoon. We have students who are here with us today. And we want to hear from the students. Yes, please, let's give them a round of applause. We are very interested to hear from the students, not only those things that may push them out of school or may want them to leave school, but also those things that are happening that makes them want to stay in school. So we are going to have what I believe is going to be a very, very good day, but remember, it's just going to be the first day of the work that we're going to do. Before I go on, I want to bring to the microphone someone who has already made a profound impact on the community since his arrival in August. I want to thank Dr. Hall, President of the university, for allowing us to host our event here in this wonderful place. And it has been such a pleasure to begin to work with him on how can the university and K-12, how do we link to make it a stronger linkage for our students, many of whom who are going to leave our schools and go straight into the university. So at this time, I would like to bring Dr. Hall and ask him to bring welcome to the group.
Good morning. I bring you greetings on behalf of the faculty, staff, and students of the University of the Virgin Islands. We are delighted to have you here. I also bring you greetings on behalf of the trustees of this university. I am honored that even this morning we have one of our former trustees, Judge Thomas, who has served on the board for a number of years and recently stepped down. And also Commissioner Terry is one of our trustee members as well. And so on behalf of the entire board, I want to welcome all of you to the University of the Virgin Islands. I want to thank Commissioner Terry for her leadership on this particular issue and also for her willingness to work with us, that is the university, in trying to address a broad education. We can conquer this issue, it can really make a difference. The last thing I want to say is that this is not your problem. It is not Commissioner Terry's problem. It is our problem, speaking on behalf of the university as well. This is something we have to take responsibility for if we really want to change it. Because as quiet as it is kept, we have the same problem. Even once students arrive at the university, there is no guarantee that they will graduate from here unless we work hard to make sure we hold on to them. We call it retention, you call it dropout, but it's still the same phenomenon. How do we ensure that individuals are successful in their quest for quality education? And this is something that I am deeply committed to, and I hope that this forum today will launch an effort.